Welcome to our podcast, You're Entitled to Our Opinion, where we delve into the Christian life, the Bible, and pretty much anything that's happening in the world today.
But more than just our opinion, we want to share truth that just might change your life.
Now, we don't claim to have all the answers, but we know who does. And our goal is to give him a chance to make a difference in your life.
I'm Jay Scribner.
And I'm Tom Johnson.
And you are entitled to our opinion. If you couldn't see much, you've got the end of it covered.
I noticed that too late. I was going to look through it and do it. Oh, man.
You're like my kind of Boy Scout.
Remember the days when the cameras used to have the little lens cap on it? I don't know how many pictures I ruined that way. But anyhow, this is my monocular. Not a binocular.
I've got one of those.
You got a monocular?
Yeah, they're fun.
They are a lot of fun. You know, and I use it to, scope out critters in my backyard and stuff like that. But every once in a while...
If I've got critters in my backyard, I want that mounted on my gun.
That's true. In fact, this one has a mount for your camera. You can put it on your camera, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I like to look up because there's some stuff up above us and that's why we're going to talk about the earth.
Why don't you say that statement again? Because it's a great statement. Every once in a while, I
look up.
I like to look up.
I like to,
That's great advice, folks.
That's true.
Okay, thanks for joining us today. We're giving you some great advice.
Great advice.
It's good to look up.
In fact, the Psalmist, he says that quite often, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But again, it's so much fun to use that. I've never had a telescope, and I want to buy one of those really big ones. Because to look up, and I have a friend, he has one of these that's about this big and about that long, and you don't look at the end, you got to look down in the reflector and stuff like that. Yeah. He looks at Jupiter, he looks at Saturn, he looks at all these planets, and it's just like, wow.
A friend of mine passed away just about a month ago, and I went to his funeral a couple of weeks ago, and I was not aware of the fact that he had built himself one of those telescopes that you're talking about.
Built it.
And as a part of the ceremony, the service, they showed some pictures that he had taken through his homemade telescope.
Yeah.
And they were pretty phenomenal, let me tell you.
Wow.
So,
that's awesome.
That's pretty neat.
It is.
Let me know when you get one.
I think I will. And as my kids were growing up, I wish I could have afforded one because I don't want the cheap one. I mean, you can buy one for a couple $100, but these are in the 4-digit range, and
Let me know when you buy one.
When I buy it, that's it. So, why is the universe so big, and yet God focuses on this little blue marble in the middle of it all?
I'll answer the first question, or if it was a first question.
Okay.
Why is the universe
so big?
Yep. Because we got a big God. I think that's the answer.
I think you're right there.
We've got a big God.
But when you think about that, the galaxies, the nebulas, we were looking it up. Pardon me?
Is that nebulae?
Nebulae, if that's more than nebuleuses. But before we went on air, we were looking up Louis Giglio, and you had talked about that. And he has, friends, if you've never seen his talk or sermon on Indescribable, that's the title of it, Indescribable, Louis Giglio. He will blow your mind with the massive expanse of the universe, and he brings it into why Earth? And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But look it up. It's an amazing thing.
Indescribable.
Indescribable. Talk about our God who's indescribable. Well, I mean, I have gotten lost online looking at the pictures that the big telescopes, you talked about your friend and his telescope. What about the one that's out in outer space? It had the Hubble, and then the brand new one. I keep forgetting the name. Yeah. And they shoot into
Hubble, was just up the road from where we are.
Really?
Up at Marshfield. That's where Dr. Hubble was from.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, his telescope is being eclipsed by the newest one, but they can take pictures of these nebulae, and and it amazes me that there is not only just stuff out there, but how impressive the design is of what's out there. I mean, the Horsehead Nebula and some of these other ones. And then we get into black.
I don't know if you've recognized this, but almost every week, it doesn't take you long to get over my head. That's just the way it is. I appreciate that.
Well, that's what
most of the time.
Right here, get in the wagon with me and let's go down this road. Because it's just the Voyager 2. And I threw that in our notes. 1977, they sent this, basically it's kind of a dish with some antenna, and it has now gone out of our solar system. And it's sending back pictures still from way out there. And so as I was studying...
And it was sent up in 77?
77. And it was in 2018, I think it was, that it finally breached the edge of what we know as... And I'm not going to throw the technical terms because actually there's more to our solar system than just what's Pluto. Pluto is in this Culm, it's Kulm area, and that goes around our solar system, which is ice crystals and ice chunks and things like that. And poor Pluto was a planet until they discovered that it really only is a part of that outer atmosphere. The outer, the solar system.
Were you emotionally tied to Pluto, evidently?
I was, because it was 9 planets until Pluto lost it.
Until
and
lost his position.
Lost his position. And it's amazing when you think, we want to send, I would say, the United States, maybe the world, want to send people to Mars. Well, it's going to take at least 2 years from launch to get to Mars. Imagine that. 730 days.
How do you pack for that?
I'm telling you, that's right. And, and I like science fiction. I've always loved it. To me, the creativity of man to be able to write these books about planets and all this other stuff. And I look at that. And one of the reasons why I love it is because it doesn't even do a speck to the glory of God in his creation and what he's laid out for us. And again, I have to ask the question, why all of that? And then he deals with us here on earth. And it's Psalms. And David says, when I look into the heavens and consider the majesty, what is man that you're mindful of him?
Oh, wow.
I just have to say, David, I understand. Because I have been in places, and you probably have too, and especially when we were growing up, where there was less what they call light pollution. And when you get away from the lights in the middle of the night and there is no moon, when you look up, if it doesn't drop your jaw, you have no imagination.
Kenya.
Oh, yeah.
Out in the bush area of Kenya.
Uh-huh.
There's no light pollution. And so the majesty of what you see, you look up and you think, oh, I didn't realize all that existed.
Yeah.
And so it's that type of situation, because I've been there in Kenya.
Yeah.
Now, the answer also, someone told me one time, and the longer we go, Tom, and the crazier it gets,
Uh-huh.
that Earth is the one place in God's big universe where God chose to set up his insane asylum.
Oh, that's good.
I'm
That's
not
good.
like I said, on most days you can't really argue with that anymore.
No, I mean,
God
yeah.
knew what he was
the,
doing.
the insanity. But atheists have asked this question for years, and I've just heard it not that long ago. If there is a God and he created the universe but only put life on Earth, that seems to be a really big waste of space. And you know what? I read this too, is that question can be asked of an artist. Why do you keep painting, just throwing colors on a canvas? Why do inventors put stuff together? This isn't even in our notes, Jay, but it's just like, just stick with the artists. Artists that can just throw paint on a canvas and it have meaning. And I think we have a God
Just like that.
who is such an incredible creator. And he created everything from the macroverse, the universe, to the microverse. And we talked about this, I think, last year, is that there is aspects of life here on Earth that we can't see. It's so small when you get to the atoms and all that other stuff. And when I look at creation and I consider the creator, if it doesn't cause me my jaw to drop, my knees to drop, and my heart to cry out, God, you are so incredible.
And again, just like you've already pointed out from the Psalmist, that then what is man?
Yeah.
What is man that you're mindful of him?
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, as you've already alluded to, God is so huge,
Mm-hmm.
and his universe is so big, and his creation is so majestic.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, God has chosen to say, Tom,
Yep.
Jay,
Yep.
I know you by name, and I love you. I want a relationship
Mm-hmm.
with you.
Mm-hmm.
That ought to just put us to our knees
Yep.
and to lay before God and just to try to begin to grasp
Mm-hmm.
his phenomenal love for us.
That's cool. Okay, now we have a list of reasons here, and just so that everybody gets you guys get an idea.
I like these.
Of what of how we perceive this. Here's the reasons for a vast universe. Number one, and we've already alluded to it, to reveal God's glory. If for no other reason, that is an incredible reason, but also to inspire awe.
And it does.
It does.
Go to Kenya with me.
I'm sure. And not only that, we were talking about doctors earlier. I can't imagine a doctor who delivers a baby and is an atheist. When you
True,
see
yeah.
life, it just inspires this incredible awe. Remember, you said when Mark was born, the doctor said, "Get in here if you want to be a part of it." Did that not just bring tears to your eyes, crush your heart, make you say, "God, you are so awesome"? That what you just said. You know him by name. When he was formed in Kay's womb, you already had a plan and a purpose. If that doesn't inspire absolute incredible awe, you're hard-hearted. You're deceived. Anyhow. But to demonstrate God's immensity. And that's another thing. It's a perspective, not just his glory, but his immensity. Because we've talked about this in the past. God created time, space, and matter.
Right.
That means that God is not bound by time or space or matter. All of the universe is nothing, like nothing in his hand. He is, if you want to talk about big, he's bigger than all of the universe. It's something that he is in his mind. He's incredible. So, and then,
okay, keep that in mind.
Okay.
Let's go on, but I want to come back to that to demonstrate God's immensity.
Okay.
And show you something from the book of Isaiah pretty soon. But
all right,
yeah,
look it
keep
up
on.
and we'll come back to that because I have two more. And you mentioned it too. God created the universe and us for his own pleasure and for relationship. And that is another thing. God actually came down twice, and more than twice. But number one, Jesus came and he was God with us, Emmanuel. But God walked with Adam in a completely pure relationship. Adam and God walked together in the garden. And it just...
Can you imagine that?
And just,
wow.
It's because his creation brings him joy. We bring him joy. And it blows me away because we look at ourselves as some, stupid, and it's like, no, God says, no, I do. Like you said earlier, I love you so much. And the last one is God has an eternal purpose. And then we can get into speculation and all that other stuff. Did God create, are there worlds, are there earths? God gave us the word, which is adequate for us to understand and to receive him. The rest of his purposes, his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. His ways are way beyond our ways. We're going to find out once eternity kicks in for us, some purpose there. But again, it's speculation.
Sure.
What we know from the word, we grasp and we hold true.
But let's take the word on that. And I've heard this question a number of times over the years,
Mm-hmm.
Is there life on other planets?
Mm-hmm.
Now, my perspective of that is no.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why.
Okay.
Genesis 1:1.
Mm-hmm.
In beginning, God created the heavens along with the earth
Mm-hmm.
and along with this planet and this planet and this planet. No, it doesn't say that.
Right.
In the beginning, God created the heavens, all this vastness that we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and the earth.
Mm-hmm.
My take on that is, if there was life on other planets, they would have been enumerated.
I'll say maybe, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, you've got a mind that reaches far, so that'll give you something to think about for this next week.
Okay.
And so, but again, I'm just going back to the word,
Mm-hmm.
and my simple mind says, I think this is it.
Okay.
And yet, this huge God chose to put the earth into its orbit, into its own galaxy, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And what is man, though, that God is mindful
Mm-hmm.
of him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here we are on earth, and we have the potential of having an eternal relationship with this eternal purpose, with this majestic, amazing God.
Yep.
That'll give you something to think about.
I do, I'm not disagreeing with you at all, and I love it in the fact that I have friends where we take this one rabbit trail all the way down. The Word of God is God's revelation to us of who He is,
right?
And who we are in relationship to Him, and that to me is the bottom line.
Sure.
I don't have to, I can play with the thoughts of all this other stuff, but I do know that God, and that's, again, I
You
keep
like
going.
sci-fi.
I love it. And the thing is that I do know that God is in control. In fact, in our notes there, what's Earth's special purposes? Number one, it is the focus of redemption.
Right.
We know that we have been created to be in relationship with the Creator
I believe
of the
everything
universe.
God does is redemptive in purpose.
Absolutely. I love it. But also, not only the focus on redemption, but each one of us, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the Sanctity of Life weekend, we have purpose. We are not just here to breathe and reproduce, and somehow we have a purpose that is eternal.
Right.
And so when we talk about eternity,
And it's important, folks, for you to discover that for yourself.
absolutely.
What is your purpose?
Mhm.
This is good. Keep
That
on.
is. And again, not just in this life, but God has created us for eternity. And we can talk about eternity and all that other stuff, but we need to stick with it. But the last point is that we do know by the Word, and especially John's revelation, that there is an existence of realms of which we are not privy to right now. They talked about the third heaven.
The third heaven.
And things like that. Okay, the reason why I bring that up is because God is bigger than we are.
Oh, my.
God's purposes are bigger than we are. And so, why do I say that? It's because for those of us that think we have a handle on everything, those in the world, are so full of themselves that think they're God, their own little God, it flips it around and says, no, God is big. My grandson, I almost forgot this. My grandson and I had a discussion the other day. How old is God? And he said, is he thousands of years old?
Now, my grandsons would say, did you ever know him personally?
That's true. But that's the thing. God is not even millions of years old. God is spirit. And to understand the created physical universe and then the spiritual universe, if that doesn't just smack you on the back of the head and say, you know what? I need to know God more, because what I think is way beyond
And he's
what
timeless.
I think. He's timeless.
He's timeless.
Eternity.
He always has been.
Yeah.
He always will be.
Yeah.
I sit around and blow my mind with that kind of stuff. Doesn't take long to happen, to be honest with you, but yeah.
But isn't it exciting?
Let me show you this.
Okay.
From Isaiah 40. We're talking about how big God is.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with verse 12, and I would encourage our viewers to go back and read that entire chapter, but starting with verse 12, who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand.
Mm.
And so you think about all the seas,
Yeah.
all the waters on this earth. And again, to satisfy my own little feeble mind, I'm thinking this huge God said, okay, we're creating the earth here. How much water do we need to put on the surface of the earth?
Mm-hmm.
And God said, that much.
Yeah.
And Tom, I get to thinking, and this is what it says. This is trying to show us how big God is.
Yeah.
He has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and he's meted out the heavens with the span.
Mm.
Now, what's that mean? Well, when we used to buy and sell horses in the community where I grew up.
Okay.
And how tall was that horse?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was this many hands tall.
Mm-hmm.
And so, depending on what the span of that was, and so it says he's meted out heaven. Okay, how big does all these galaxies and this universe you're talking about, Tom?
Uh-huh.
How big does it need to be? And God said, well, let's make it this big. And so get the image. I mean, it's amazing.
It is.
Reading from God's Word, it's amazing how the Word is trying to just give us a little bit of a glimpse of just how big God is.
Mm-hmm.
And he comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure. I watch my wife do some cooking, and she'll get this little measuring spoon out, and she'll put something in it, and then she'll make sure that it's level. Well, think about that. God said, okay, how much dust do we need here on this earth? And he says, there, that'll do. Man, this just blows my mind. Weighed the mountains in a scales and the hills in a balance. Just that one verse. He's directed the Spirit of the Lord, or who has directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor has taught him. Is there anybody big enough, smart enough to be God's counselor?
No.
With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding? Is there anyone that can measure up to that? No. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he takes up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. To whom then will you liken God, or what likeness will you compare to him? I would encourage our viewers. That's verses 12 through 18, Isaiah 40.
Isaiah 40.
But just the little bit that we read right there begins to expand our mind to think how massive the creator of this universe is.
And to bring it to a close, I got it. Solomon, the wisest man on earth, put it this way. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind.
That's good.
You got just know him. And fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And all that wisdom exists in the creator of the universe. And so as we stand back, we look up, again, it's like, God, you are. And I think that's why he says, I am, the I am. Because when I look at him, I can just say,
there's no way to describe him.
You are. You are everything. And so, friends, that's why we bring this up this day, just to hopefully blow our minds again and really send us to our knees to be able to say, God, I choose you as Lord. You are Lord of all creation, but you're Lord of my life. Fear God.
And this huge God wants to know you and me because he loves us so very, very much.
That's right.
God bless you. Thank you so much for joining us. If we can help you in any way, reach out to us.
Please.
Sure appreciate you joining us. Want you to join us every week because you're entitled to our opinion.
Thanks. Friends, you can contact us at yourentitled777@gmail.com. Also on Facebook.com, You're Entitled to Our Opinion. Jay's video blog, Here's Hope America, can be found on Facebook.com, Here's Hope America. Tom's blog, Durf Nerfel's Thought of the Day, you can find at Facebook.com/DurfNerfelsTOTD, but also you can sign up to receive it by email on the website durfnerfel.us. Share our opinion. As with all podcasts, you, our listeners, are the way people join us as you share the podcast with them. You're Entitled to Our Opinion has been recorded at Flat Frog Studio, Hollister, Missouri. For more information, go to www.flatfrogstudio.us.